Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really happy to see you in my presentation today. My name is Roman Volkov. I study in Lab University of Applied Sciences, and today I'm going to present you a presentation about artificial neural networks. And first of all, let's start with announcing of agenda of my presentation. So we'll start with the definition of artificial intelligence. Then we will move on to machine learning and to see what kind of machine learning exists. And then we will be ready to speak about neural networks. Here we have an illustration of all these terms, how they relate to each other. Of course, the situation is far more difficult and interesting, but simplified, we can imagine that machine learning is just a part of artificial intelligence, and neural networks are using in deep learning. That is one of the kind of machine learning. And let's start with one question. What comes to your mind when you hear the words artificial intelligence? So I will start with a quick example. It's a famous ChatGPT. Actually, it was launched just in November 2022, not that much time ago. And since then, it has become really popular, and it changes our world in some way, especially the education system, education processes, and it influences the way we build our educational systems. So this one of the example of neural networks working. Concisely speaking, it is NLP, natural languages processing, chatbots that based on the using of neural networks. And actually, when I thought about definitions of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other definitions that I use in this presentation, I decided just to ask from the artificial intelligence itself how it defines itself. So I just wrote in ChatGPT, and it gave me answer. So it says that artificial intelligence refers to the ability of computer system to perform tasks that would typically require human intelligence, such as recognizing speech, different images, understanding natural languages, and making decisions and solve problems. And a little bit about where the artificial intelligence is being used. So first of all, healthcare, of course, it can be used to analyze medical images, predict disease outbreaks, and so on. Then here we have an image, for example. Does it seem? Yep. Then in finance area also, artificial intelligence can be used for fraud detection, risk assessment, and for portfolio management. Then in manufacturing, it can be used to optimize production process, in education also, in transportation, and many other areas. So it is has really wide range of usage. And Alan Turing in 1950 wrote, "I propose to consider the question, can machine think? He advised changing the question from whether a machine thinks to whether or not it is possible for machinery to show intelligent behavior." He devised a Turing test, and on the slide we can see a simplified scheme, how it looks. So we have a player C, a human, and it has a goal to find out. He can messaging with player A, which is computer, and player B, which is a human. And he needs to recognize who is a human and who is an artificial intelligence. It's a famous Turing test. So let's move on to machine learning. What is actually machine learning? It is defined as subset of artificial intelligence that involves the development of algorithm and statistical models that enable computer system to learn from data without being explicitly programmed. And there are some kinds of machine learning. First of all, it's supervised learning as regression or classification, for example, if you've heard something about it. The idea is that computer learn from labeled data sets. So it has questions, and for every question, it has answers. So it is learning with a teacher, supervised learning. And the result is that this model can be used to predict the output of new unseen inputs without answer. So there is a simple image that explains. So we have input data. It's supervised learning. Yep. So we have an answer. Model is being taught, and then it might give an answer to unknown question. Then unsupervised learning is for learning the system is used an unlabeled data set. So we have just questions. It's, for example, task of clusterization. Then reinforcement learning. The idea here is that a model gets positive points if it succeeds and negative points if it fails. So it is learning getting points, and as the end result, it might just to model some lines of behavior and to choose just that line where it gets the most score. And deep learning, the most interesting, in my opinion, part of machine learning, and it is connected with neural networks. And this involves training a neural network with multiple layers of interconnected nodes called neurons, which can learn complex patterns and relationship in data. It is actually, when we're speaking about recognizing different patterns, audio or visual patterns, it is all about deep learning. So what is neural network? Artificial neural networks are a computing system inspired by the biological neural networks that is a human brain or other animal brain. It consists of millions and milliards of neurons. So we have an image that illustrates how it works. So we have a node called neuron. It has an activation functions, and it has a range of inputs and just one output. It's important. So every input has its weights. So input is being multiplied to its weight, then it's all are being summed, and then activation function create from this sum an output. And by modifying these weights, we can change the behavior of the neuron, of its output. Most of architectures of neural networks are layers, just layers. It has at least two layers, input layer and output layer, and it might have 1,000 or million layers between those, between input and output. So we have these layers, and they are called hidden layers. And since we all live at the moment in Finland, we study in Finland, so I can't not to mention Teuvo Kohonen. It is a prominent Finnish researcher. He studied neural networks, and also Kohonen's neural networks were named after him. If you are interested, you can Google this thing. And to end up with, I want to give an example of my personal experience, how neural networks changed my life personally. So I have been for a while into chess, and in 2017 actually was represented such a chess engine as AlphaZero, and it is based on neural network, and after being learned just for 24 hours, it could beat the world champion of computer programs in the world that exists. So it was a revolution in the world of chess engines. And nowadays, neural networks-based engines might play chess far more better than classical engines that can just calculate moves, move by move, ply by ply, and so on. And it is far more effective. And also, furthermore, neural networks engines can create new ideas, and it changed the opening theory nowadays. And if some of you are familiar with the world of chess, maybe some of you could hear about Stockfish. It's one of the most famous and popular chess engines at the moment, and latest versions of it also are based on neural networks. So to sum up, artificial intelligence is progressing nowadays dramatically. It has revolutionized the field of computer science and rapidly transformed our world. Different machine learning techniques are everywhere, and machine learning has allowed computers to learn from data and improve their performance on specific tasks over time, like problem solving and decision-making processes and so on. And there it is. Thank you for your attention, and feel free to ask questions.
So I have this general question. With the increase of the artificial intelligence as an everyday help, many services that used to exist have been discontinued, or managing things has become more difficult for the elderly people. Do you think that elderly have been taken into account well enough, or is this assumed that the elderly should adapt the artificial intelligence increases?
Thank you, Pauline, for the question. It is really relevant question, I guess, and it's one of the problems of modern development of all the technology, not just artificial intelligence, but yes, the world is changing faster and faster, and it changes dramatically. And of course, for elderly people, is far more difficult to handle all new technologies. But I guess it is possible to learn them, to use that, and to make user-friendly interfaces of different software using artificial intelligence, actually, it might seem difficult just when you're developing it, when you're creating it, but software developers and computer science specialists might make a software that are easily used. And I guess that the humanity can overcome this problem. I believe in it.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a question. What do you think about the future of artificial intelligence? Like, do you see it being used in work life uh, and for example, in IT, do you see people using like chatbots to code in the future? And that's it. That's my question.
Thank you for the question, Ollie. Yes, it's definitely a good question. As we know, for example, that ChatGPT is able already to create simple programs, but not, but just simple ones. So, but actually, yes, with development of artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques, I guess that programs would be able to create more difficult programs. But anyway, I guess our world will need people who are um, educated in the area of computer science, because to guide these systems. And I don't think that it would be possible that they will replace all the software engineers itself. So I guess, yes, it might create simple programs, but not the difficult ones.
What about in the future, like in 50 years? Do you think it's possible that you just the chatbot that you want the chatbot to code you a game and then you just tell the bot to change some details and that's how you make games in the future? Do you think this is possible in like 50 years or something?
50 years, it's really
Yeah.
long time, and I have no idea what is going to be in 50 years. Yes, I guess it is plausible, but not probable. I guess that artificial intelligence might close some vacancies and job places for lower software engineer tasks, for example. But I guess in all the time, people who understand artificial intelligence and who studied how to work with neural networks will always be in a need, I guess. And at least I don't want to believe that artificial intelligence can replace the humanity.
I see.
That's the best thing I can answer at the moment.
Thank you for the answer.
And how does machine learning help to improve the quality of people's lives?
The quality. Okay, thank you for the question. So as was said, it is already used in healthcare area, for example. It might even develop personalized treatment programs, and in area of education, for example, it is personalized learning again, and it enables us to create a highly specific learning program for each student to make its education more and more effective. And in manufacturing, again, in finance and a lot of areas, it will progress and make processes more efficient.
Thanks.
So thank you for attention once again, and we will end it up. Thank you.